Welcome to episode 18 of The Closest They Came, a series where we take a look back on the days when drivers, winless at NASCAR's highest level, came painfully close to etching their names into the history books. Breaking slightly from the standard format, this episode will focus on three road course specialists, better known as ringers to the NASCAR faithful, and their near-upset wins at Watkins Glen International. After winning numerous Trans Am races throughout the early to mid-90s, Ron Fellows would find even greater success in 1997, winning both an IMSA event at Mosport and a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series event at Watkins Glen. He would add his name to the list of Busch Series winners, claiming the Lysol 200 from Watkins Glen in August of 1998. Fellows would enter three events at the 1999 NASCAR weekend at the Glen, driving for Nemco Motorsports. Setting the stage for Sunday, he would kick off the weekend with a win in the Truck Series event and a close second in the Busch Series race. Making his fourth start in the Cup Series, Fellows would line up in seventh after averaging 120.018 miles per hour on his timed lap.
Bob, one guy to keep an eye on early on might be road racing specialist Ron Fellows, the Canadian out of the SCCA Trans Am ranks. Despite having a transmission problem, an engine problem, and only getting one lap of practice on pole day, he qualified that car seventh. He said the car was much, much better yesterday morning. They think they're going to be a major factor early on and make their way to the front very quickly.
He would quickly advance into the top five on the opening lap before clearing Mark Martin for fourth on the following lap in turn one and getting around Rusty Wallace for third in turn five. Brett Bodine's stopped car in the inner loop brought out the first yellow on lap 14. With it being too early to make it to the end on one more pit stop, Fellows would stay out and retain his position along with most of the leaders. The action would resume on lap 16. Ernie Irvan would go off course in the inner loop and get stuck in the sand trap on lap 20, bringing out the second yellow. Fellows would pit with the leaders this time, but unfortunately a slow stop would put him back to 15th for the lap 22 restart. He would dig back in, re-entering the top 10 on lap 25. Jeff Burton would crash in turn 11 on lap 30, slowing the event once more. Fellows would pit once again here, however many of the cars that stopped under the previous yellow would stay out, bumping him back to 25th for the lap 32 restart. Not long after, David Murray's car would leak oil onto the racing surface, putting the race back under yellow on lap 35. Staying out on the subsequent pit sequence, Fellows would line up in 18th for the lap 38 restart.
You can hear it as the green was coming back out.
Ron Fellows is just a couple of cars behind Boris Said. The other drivers making their first start here in the NASCAR Winston Cup competition. Here's Ron.
Great road racer. As pointed out at the top of the show, has good experience here at the Glen in Busch race and truck race.
He would make his way up to 10th by the time Sterling Marlin would go off course in the inner loop on lap 46, bringing out caution number 5. With too many laps left to make it to the end on fuel, Fellows would stay out when the pits opened, sliding up to 9th in time for the lap 48 restart. He would continue to surge forward, getting around Jimmy Spencer to re-enter the top 5 on lap 50, before passing Dale Jarrett and Wally Dallenbach Jr. on successive laps, making his way up to 3rd.
Ron Fellows had passed Dale Jarrett. He now has passed Wally Dallenbach and has moved him to 3rd. So for you Ron Fellows fans, he is on the move.
He would overtake the lead as a green flag pit sequence would commence, staying out front for laps 56 through 58 before coming in for service, giving up the lead to Jerry Nadeau.
And there is the leader of the race, Ron Fellows. Jerry Nadeau is leading. Ron Fellows was leading. He has made a pit stop, but Jerry Nadeau remains on the racetrack. Bill Weber with an update on the 87 car of Fellows.
Well, Bob, just an impressive run, and apparently, according to the crew, Ron Fellows said don't change a thing. He's happy with the handle of the car. They can reach the end. He's got 4 tires and enough fuel, so just waiting for Nadeau to come in and see what happens to him, but it's been a good run for Fellows. We'll see how he finishes.
He would cycle back up to 4th before Rich Bickle brought out the 6th caution on lap 70, moving up to 3rd as the pit sequence would complete in time for the lap 72 restart. Quickly getting past Rusty for 2nd, he would set his sights on Jeff Gordon.
And you'll see a battle for 2nd spot as Fellows goes by Rusty Wallace into 2nd place.
Is that guy good or what on the road course?
He is unbelievable, especially at Watkins Glen.
The Canadian driver showing how it's done here this afternoon on a road course, up to second.
And they're calling out lap times to Fellows, and the last time by, a minute 13.6 for Fellows, a minute 13.9 for Jeff Gordon.
He is closing the interval. It was more than a second. Now it's down to less than 3/4 of a second. Jerry has more on the 39-year-old Canadian Ron Fellows.
Exactly, guys. Back at the last week of July, that he came up here to test, and some pretty good cars here, including Jeff Gordon, the car he's driving today, Dale Jarrett, and some others. And Ron Fellows, fresh off the truck, was the fastest of the cars they tested. Not only was he fast, he was very, very consistent. Car owner Joe Nemechek said we made no adjustments, and he's running laps at a minute 13 flat with minimal of change on the car. I think that's sort of stuck in the craw of some of the Winston Cup regulars. Now we're going to see if Gordon can stay out front, or Fellows can duplicate what he did here in July and run him down.
And I'm with Fellows crew chief Brian Patty. And Brian, do you have anything for that 24 car?
I would hope so. I just kept telling Ron to stay right there, put that yellow nose right there in the 24 mirror. But they're awfully tough. They're tough everywhere. He's Mr. Road Course right now. He's won 4 straight or something. So for this Busch team to put a car together, Team Savco supply the motor. I think we're running exceptionally well. It's a win for our team if we can finish where we are. Chevrolet, Bully Hill Vineyards, I think they all should be happy.
Johnny Benson's crash exiting turn 4 would bring out the final yellow on lap 87, setting up a 2-lap run to the checkers. Gordon would get a great jump on the restart, giving him a decent gap into turn 1. Fellows would battle it out but come up just short, crossing the line 763 thousandths of a second behind Gordon, who would claim his 5th straight road course victory and 47th win of his career.
Down to John Kernan.
With Ron Fellows, and Ron, a bit of a smile, but when you climbed out of the car, it looked like you were a little bit disappointed. Second place, Ron, it's not bad.
I know, but we want to win. We want to win. But, it's not bad. Jeff Gordon and Ray Evernham have done an awesome job with their road race program, and I got to thank Brian Patty, all the guys at Nemechek's team. They've done just an outstanding job. We're disappointed. You come to win, but, the effort that they put in a short amount of time, 8 seconds, a pretty good effort. And thank Bully Hill Vineyards, AER, Anco Wipers, and Chevrolet. 1-2 Chevrolet, that had to help a little bit in manufacturers. So,
second place finish for Ron Fellows to Bill Weber.
Fellows would eventually make 25 Cup Series starts, with 24 of them coming on road courses, finishing his career with 5 top 10 and 3 top 5 finishes, including his 2004 run at Watkins Glen for DEI, where he would start on the pole and earn his second runner-up finish, crossing the line 1.51 seconds behind Tony Stewart. After winning multiple championships in both SCCA and IMSA, along with wins in the prestigious 24 Hours of Daytona and 12 Hours of Sebring, Scott Pruett would try his hand at NASCAR. He would run the full Cup Series season in 2000 for Cal Wells and PPI Motorsports with limited success. However, still a proven asset on road courses, having scored 2 top 10s in his 5 starts up to that point, he would continue to get the call to fill in at Sears Point and Watkins Glen into the next decade. For the 2003 Sirius Satellite Radio at the Glen, Chip Ganassi Racing with Felix Sabates would field an additional Dodge Intrepid for Pruett. He would line up 28th after averaging 122.144 miles per hour on his timed lap. The first lap would be quite eventful. Pruett would make an aggressive dive to the inside, entering turn 1. Jeff Gordon would spin from the lead off of Greg Biffle's front bumper, and Kyle Petty would endure a violent crash exiting the inner loop, bringing out the first yellow. After his impressive charge on the opening lap, Pruett would line up in 15th for the lap 5 restart, climbing up to 12th place before the first round of green flag stops would commence. Before the cycle could complete, a large fire would erupt in Kevin Harvick's pit stall, bringing out the second caution of the day. Pruett would stay on track when the remaining leaders pitted, taking over the lead for the first time on the lap 25 restart.
The restart at Watkins Glen. New leader Scott Pruett did not pit under this caution flag. Green flag. Yet in this race. Second is P.J. Jones. Third is Kevin Harvick. Fourth is John Andretti. Fifth is Ron Fellows. Then Warren and Jeff Burton. Sixth and seventh, and Michael Waltrip eighth.
Oh, man. Oh, they're getting all jammed up behind them.
Yeah.
Matt, one of those what's Pruett and these guys in the lead thinking about by not pitting?
Well, Benny, I spoke to his crew chief, Matt Chambers. He told me they're looking at the 30-30 or a variation of the 30-30 plan. They're hoping to pit somewhere between lap 30 and 32, Marty.
He would come in for his first stop after leading 9 circuits, handing over the lead to Jeff Burton.
You ever see the 39 car making a pit stop, so the 99 of Jeff Burton takes the lead.
So Scott Pruett on pit road here, and puts Burton into the lead, as Benny said. Earnhardt Jr. to second, Greg Biffle to third, and 35 miles an hour, the pit road speed here today. It's awfully slow feeling when you've been on the track at speed, Matt.
Alice and Sterling Marlin's done for the day. His pit crew will service Scott Pruett, his car free, just like it was in the final practice session. Matt Chambers is going to try to fix it with air pressure.
Christian Fittipaldi would crash in turn 11 on lap 35 after help from Steve Park, bringing out the yellow once more. After the running order was sorted out, Pruett would line up in 26th for the lap 37 restart. Tony Raines would crash hard on the backstretch after contact from Terry Labonte, slowing the event for the 4th time on lap 43. Pruett would stay out when the pits opened, restarting in 21st on lap 46. Rusty Wallace experienced a brake issue entering turn 10 on lap 52, causing the 5th caution of the day. Several lead lap cars, including Pruett, got onto pit road before it closed, setting up the potential for them to make it to the end on fuel with enough caution laps. He would restart from 16th on lap 56, re-entering the top 10 on lap 61 and the top 5 on lap 64 as it continued to make passes and the remaining lead lap cars made their final pit stops for fuel.
Meanwhile, Scott Pruett, I talked to his crew chief, Matt Chambers. The air pressure adjustment has helped on the last stop. He hasn't said anything else, Marty.
That's Casey in the 41. Scott Pruett behind him in the 39 car has won 5 of 7 Trans Am Series races so far this season. He's the top running ringer so far, so if you voted for Pruett, so far, you're doing well in our race talk poll of earlier.
But the question is, can these guys go the distance?
Yeah.
On fuel.
There's Scott Pruett, 43-year-old, originally from Sacramento, California. Ran most of the 2000 NASCAR Winston Cup season.
Going to make a move here on Casey.
Todd Bodine would wind up in the turn 1 gravel trap on lap 76 after experiencing a wheel hop. The leaders would stay out during the ensuing caution period, setting up a wild restart where Pruett would take his shot.
Robbie got a good restart.
Here comes Scott Pruett.
Pruett's going to try to make a run on Harvick.
Harvick tried to block him, was not able to. He gets position.
Oh, contact. Got in too heavy. But 8 tires are better than 4.
Yes, sir.
Used Kevin to keep him on the track.
And that's what I was talking about. This is the time. This is the easiest time to make that pass.
Scott Pruett, one of the 5 ringers in the race, the road course regulars. Do you know that as far as the ringers are concerned, the last time a non-Winston Cup regular won a NASCAR Winston Cup road course race was 1973.
You just got to be careful. He's looking in the mirror every single corner. Every time he comes out of a corner, every time he goes in a corner, he's looking in the mirror to see if Scott Pruett is gaining. Believe me, if he thinks Pruett's gaining, he's going to go back after those RPMs because he can't afford to be caught.
Going to be Scott Pruett's best ever NASCAR Winston Cup finish if the fuel holds out for him and he finishes second. How about it, Matt?
Alan, they have calculated, recalculated, and tried it one more time. They are very, very close. Jerry Schweitz has a can of fuel. Greg Posney has a can of starter fluid, but they are not going to come in. They are going for it. Remember, they are not racing for points, just pride.
If he didn't run out right there in that last corner, it's too late.
They may as well put that stuff away.
Yeah.
Fighting to the end while managing his remaining fuel, Pruett would cross the line in second, 2.335 seconds behind Robbie Gordon, who would claim his second victory of the season and third of his career.
A career best Winston Cup finish second for Scott Pruett today at Watkins Glen. Tell me, yeah, you can dance a little bit if you want to. Tell me about diving onto pit road there with all those other guys. How quick of a decision was that?
That was very quick, but it was right in our window. And I mean, and all the Target guys did a terrific job. I mean, we had a strategy that we thought we could play. It was an aggressive one, and it all depended on those yellows, and they happened to work out exactly the way we wanted to. Unfortunately, we pitted so soon at the end that we had to conserve fuel. They're going, go after Robbie, but you got to conserve fuel at the same time. And we could about pace him, but we couldn't catch him.
If you would have gotten a restart, could you have caught him? I mean, it seemed like all you needed was a little track position on him.
The thing that a restart would have done would let me run full fuel, because then I could have gone for it. But you know what? I'm happy with second. Not that you're ever happy with second, but career best for us. And for the Target guys, Ganassi guys, they worked real hard getting this fourth car here. And thanks to them, and hi to my family at home. Miss you.
Big run for Scott Pruett today. Comes home second. Dave?
Pruett would ultimately make 40 career starts in the Cup Series, with 12 of them coming on road courses where he would collect 5 top 5 and 3 top 10 finishes. He also earned an additional top 10 finish in the 2000 Brickyard 400. Boris Said began his racing career in the late 80s, earning the SCCA Rookie of the Year honors in 1988. He would eventually have immense success in IMSA, taking the 24 Hours of Daytona in 1997, before going back-to-back in 1998 and taking the 12 Hours of Sebring as well. Concurrent to his success in road racing, he began exploring NASCAR in the mid-90s, running full seasons in the Craftsman Truck Series in 1997 and 98. In October of 1998, he would earn his first career victory at Sears Point. His Cup Series debut would come at Watkins Glen in August of 1999. By the time teams arrived for the 2005 Sirius Satellite Radio at the Glen, Said had made 18 career Cup Series starts, having earned 3 previous top 10 finishes at road courses. Driving a Chevrolet Monte Carlo for MB Sutton Motorsports, he would draw the 41st starting position after qualifying was rained out, rolling off 39th on the grid after Scott Pruett and Elliott Sadler dropped to the rear. He would make his way up to 32nd before making contact with P.J. Jones entering the inner loop, causing the first caution on lap 11.
And Boris goes around.
So both those guys have damage now on their cars. PJ's got left front damage, and it looks like Boris probably does as well.
After pitting to assess the damage, he would restart from 42nd on lap 13. Said would climb up to 16th as green flag pit stops would begin, making his own stop on lap 19, prior to Dale Jarrett's crash in the carousel on lap 25. He would stay out when the pits opened, moving up to 13th for the restart on lap 28, getting up to 8th within a lap and continuing to surge forward, reaching 6th by the time Jeff Burton crashed in turn 2 on lap 32.
And Boris Said, in the 36 car, has gotten by Carl Edwards, moved into the 6th position.
And he was he was one of those earlier guys that pitted, correct?
He spun and had to come down pit road to get his window flap, his roof flap put down and all that other stuff.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
Full course caution.
All right, what we got to have.
Oh boy. New front clip.
The race would resume on lap 35. The fourth caution would occur after P.J. Jones had a brake rotor explode heading down the front stretch on lap 42, sending him on a wild ride entering turn 1. Restarting from 5th on lap 45, Said would get around Gordon for 4th on lap 46. He would make his final pit stop on lap 56, as you can see him go by Robbie Gordon in this shot. He would cycle back around to 5th place by the time Greg Biffle's transmission would fail, bringing out the 5th caution on lap 60. The remaining cars would finish their pit cycle under yellow, moving Said up to 3rd for the lap 63 restart. After passing Jimmy Johnson for 2nd on lap 65, he would begin closing in on Stewart.
Up front, Tony Stewart is fast, but Boris Said is on the move running 2nd.
Last lap, 36 car, Boris Said ran his personal best lap of the race.
Alan talked to Boris Said this morning. He said, you know what? All I want is a shot. I want to be in the top 5 with 20 laps to go. Guess what? 20 laps to go. Boris Said is in 2nd. They are close on fuel. Frank Stoddard says they should make it. Those are brake hoses dragging, no problem. Car a little bit loose. Boris trying to track down the 20. Dave?
On lap 72, Michael Waltrip would endure a hard crash on the backstretch after contact from Casey Kane, slowing the race for the 6th time. Said would have a tough restart on lap 76, making contact with Robbie Gordon and dropping back to 3rd.
Those guys were laying back and it burned them because Stewart just buried them.
Oh, almost some contact between those two cars.
I believe there was some contact there.
This is shaping up to be a career best day for Boris Said. He's running in the 3rd position. His career best before this day, 6th. Twice. He is not very happy with Tony Stewart and the way he restarted under the last last green flag. Felt like Tony brake checked him in the last corner. That's why they were so far back.
An incident involving Ron Fellows, Jorge Getters, and Kurt Busch would bring out the 7th and final caution on lap 88, setting up a green-white checkered finish, with the final restart coming on lap 91.
Got to go in deep.
Go, go, go.
There again, Stewart gets a great restart, and they're not even close enough to try to outbrake him.
Said looking to the inside of Robbie, will not get there.
Stewart would prove to be too strong for the competition, earning his 3rd victory at Watkins Glen and the 24th of his career, as Said would cross the line in 3rd.
Boris Said finishes 3rd. He told me this morning, all you wanted was a shot. You had it. Tell me about the last few restarts and the last few laps.
Yeah, I mean, I made good restarts all day in the Centric Chevrolet, but the last one, Tony got me, and I got bogged down, and Robbie got a run on me. We had a little contact. That's good racing, but sure would have been nice to finish second to Tony Stewart. I mean, he's the best right now, so I was feeling pretty good about that. But I mean, it's my first top 5, so I'm not going to cry about 3rd. It's a pretty good finish for me, especially starting 41st. But you know, everyone on the Centric Chevrolet, U.S. Army, Valvoline, the Hendrick Motors were great all day, and my first top 5 in NASCAR NASCAR Cup, so I'm pretty happy. I mean, Jay Fry, all the guys from Centrix, they're out in Denver. You know, they have the big champ car race today in Denver they put on, and I wish they were here, Bob and all the guys, but I really appreciate all your support, and I'm pretty happy. Not bad.
It's a career best day for Boris Said, Dave.
Said would continue to appear on Cup Series entry lists into 2017, making a total of 54 starts, with 34 of them coming on road courses, ultimately scoring 8 top 10 and 2 top 5 finishes, including a 4th-place run in the July 2006 race at Daytona. In an era where road courses were much less prevalent and had overall lower implications towards the championship picture, road course ringers often gave otherwise out-of-contention teams a significant boost in their hopes of claiming a victory. Ron Fellows, Scott Pruett, and Boris Said each had legendary road racing careers, and at Watkins Glen in particular, they all came incredibly close to pulling off an upset win in the Cup Series.